final thoughts, predictions for Week 8. We gave you our picks in all of these games this week already on Tuesday as our prediction show, so make sure you're tuned into that if you're not already. That's when we pick these games. I want to go game by game here, or team by team rather, for some of these big games, and just kind of tell you what I think needs to happen, give you our thoughts. Some of them are predictions as it pertains to the big-time matchups in Week 8. Ohio State, Penn State. I already told y'all, we are going to be there. I cannot wait. Should be an incredible atmosphere in the Horseshoe, somewhere I've been before and somewhere that we love to go. I mean, it feels like if you were to drop the perfect Big Ten environment, granted, I haven't been to some of these other big-time places, but Ohio State is just like exactly in your mind the archetype of what a Big Ten electric atmosphere should look like. They do it right over there. Can't wait to get to Columbus. I think for Ohio State in this game against Penn State, I think you really need to have Cade Stover make a big impact. Tight end for them. He's on the Mackey Award watch list. There is a lot of attention going to be given for Marvin Harrison Jr. Deservedly so. Best player in college football, probably not named Caleb Williams, like Brock Bowers in that conversation as well. Marvin Harrison Jr. should get a fair amount of attention from the secondary with Penn State. So when that happens, with Marvin Harrison Jr. being out wide, what does that mean? It means the safeties probably playing a little bit more generously over the top to Marvin Harrison Jr. When that happens, what does that mean? More real estate in the middle of the field for Kyle McCord to throw to. Who's he throwing to in the middle of the field? More than likely, it's going to be Cade Stover. So I think Cade Stover needs to make his presence felt, catching the football, and then on top of that, to double down on this statement, you need a big game from Cade Stover blocking as well. Because we've seen to this point in the year, Ohio State, they haven't been what Ohio State was the past couple of seasons where we're dropping back, throwing the ball all around the yard, scoring 40 a game. Like, it might be a little bit more ground and pound, physical approach, and Cade Stover, with what he does blocking, has to be a factor in that and contribute to that as well. So Ohio State needs a big game from number 8 on Saturday. I'm excited to watch it. I think he'll answer the call to action there. And Cade Stover, need a big game from the boy against Penn State. Now for Penn State, I think when we talk about this game for Penn State, I don't think you can be the new Penn State and beat Ohio State with the old Penn State approach. And that can be simplified in this, like Drew Aller, you gotta cut Drew Aller loose a little bit in this game. And I don't mean you gotta throw it 40 times a game or, have Drew Aller go for 400 yards, but I think you gotta let him prove that he's the guy to win you this game. Like Drew Aller, as talented as he is, this is still going to be his first big-time spot. And I think to beat Ohio State, to do something you haven't done in a minute, you're going to have to probably have a different approach than you've ever had in a minute. And so it might be more timely. It might be just letting him take a couple shots deep when they're there. To be clear, when they're there, James Franklin, if you're watching, I'm not saying you just throw the ball deep blindly, because I know how he feels about that. But I think you do have to trust him a little bit to make those plays downfield for you. Because looking at the season when we were in like July, we're talking about Penn State and what they can be, and we're talking about could they beat Ohio State, could they beat Michigan? Well, your thought process around Penn State beating Ohio State came back to what you thought Drew Aller could be, maybe, might be, would be, should be. And Drew Aller, to this point, has proven he's trustworthy. He's a guy that's going to be efficient with the football, going to take care of the football for the most part. Like, are the analytics glowing when it comes to Drew Aller in terms of his, completion percentage all the time? Like, I understand where you're coming from if you have issues with him throwing the ball downfield, whatever. I think in this game, you got to cut him loose and let him prove that he is the guy that's taken Penn State to new heights and taking you to the new Penn State. So I'm excited to watch that. But again, I think Drew Aller can't be a first-year starter anymore in this game. Has to level up in a big way. Now, Tennessee, Alabama, also a huge game this upcoming Saturday. Andy Staples from On3, going to be in Tuscaloosa for that one. I know he's fired up for that. I'm fired up to hear his war stories from this game. If you're going to win this game, if you're Tennessee, I think this has to be the Squirrel White game. Like, I think he has the potential to be the cog that makes this whole machine operate differently. There's so much talk around Joe Milton, so much talk around running the football. If you want to make Joe Milton's job easier, win your matchup right away. Be an open target for Joe Milton to throw to. You want to run the football effectively? Throw the football effectively. Get Squirrel White involved. I think what Squirrel White has to be in this game is similar to what Xavier Worthy was for Texas against Alabama when they went to Tuscaloosa. They were going up tempo. They were getting the ball to him with movement pre-snap. They were throwing the ball to him horizontally, letting him get upfield. Like, I think it's feed Squirrel White this kind of game. I think he has to be the guy that's dynamic for the Tennessee offense to get this Alabama defense off balance. Would help Joe Milton. Again, would definitely help the run game. And I don't think you can be one-dimensional against Alabama in this game, in this spot at home. Like I think you have to find a way to, again, mix him up, get him off balance. And I think getting him the ball in space would be a tremendous start to doing that. Now for Alabama, there's been a lot made around Jalen Milroe being the guy in this game, what you need from number 4, throwing the ball deep and all that. Like, you can't throw the football deep if you don't protect Jalen Milroe. You can't throw the football deep if you don't have some kind of threat running the football. And so to me, Jalen Milroe is a big part of this game, obviously. To me, this game will be won with the offensive line. This is the offensive line's kind of game. You want to win? Got to have something throwing the football. Want to have something throwing the football? Got to protect Jalen Milroe. Can't have a 16% sack rate, one of the worst in the country. They got to step up in a big way against this fierce defensive front. If you want to win, got to be able to set up third and manageable. How do you do that? Running the football well on first and second down. Getting a push, running for right around 4 yards a carry like they're averaging right now. Can't have procedural penalties. Can't have missed assignments. Can't have holds. It's going to take a really good game from this offensive line for Alabama to get it done. And we talked about them preseason being the engine to this offense. And they've been that at times, but like this is the game where you got to draw a line in the sand and say, we're at home. We lost to these guys last year. Got to help our first-year quarterback out. Like, we need this offensive line to grow up right now. Right now. So I think the Alabama offensive line is going to be the key to that game. And I can't wait to see how they respond because I think there's a lot of pressure on them to get it done at home in Tuscaloosa. Now, one more game I want to talk about, is USC and Caleb Williams. For USC, getting the loss last week at Notre Dame in the fashion they did, they got punched in the mouth. Like, it is what it is. Caleb Williams did not have his best game. We all saw that. I think Caleb Williams knows that. Lincoln Riley knows that. The whole country knows that. Now, here's the thing about getting punched in the mouth with good teams. Good teams respond. And good teams that respond are led by leaders that respond. And I think Caleb Williams will respond. And I think this is a situation where, with your back against the wall, this is the game where if you have some pride about yourself, you got some culture about yourself for USC, we see it in this game. Like, there is nothing more that you could add to this situation to get you to play, right? Like, pride kind of game where this team beat you twice last year, embarrassed you in the Pac-12 title game, coming off a loss where everyone's talking about what USC isn't up front and what they don't have defensively all season long. Like, if you want to silence that, you want to silence all the doubters and all the noise, you go beat Utah at the crib, a team that took care of business against you, like I said, 2 times last season. You make a statement to the rest of the country. Yeah, we got knocked down. We're still alive in this college football playoff race. We're still alive in this Pac-12 title race. Like, let's go. This is the game where you should give your best against Utah. They should be able to get their best against this team. So I think Caleb Williams, like I said, I think he does respond in this game. I think we do see him play a different version of football that we saw last weekend. And it's going to take the defense as well. I mean, I talked a lot about Caleb Williams there. The defense has to hold up their end of the bargain as well and be able to measure up in a very, very big way. There's no way around that. So, Ohio State, Penn State will be there. Can't wait to watch that one. Tennessee, Alabama. Huge implications on the SEC title race. And USC, man, in terms of the Pac-12 title race, like that's going to be, in a lot of ways, that's going to be USC's sort of draw a line in the sand kind of game as well, like I mentioned for Alabama. Same thing for USC with their back against the wall. So, that'll be fun, man. Week 8, it's upon us. We just got our final thoughts out there for the beautiful slate that is Week 8 of the season, and I can't wait to watch. I can't wait to be in Columbus, be in the Horseshoe, see Script Ohio, dot the I. Like, it's going to be a blast. If you have been watching the show for any length of time, that you know that Prize Picks is bringing y'all the hard count today. And Prize Picks, man, they are for the people. They are by the people. Daily fantasy, safe, easy to use. I hadn't played until this year. Right now, I'm loving using it. It's a phenomenal, phenomenal resource for every single Saturday. Every single game is a good game when you got Prize Picks going on. So use code JD, 100% deposit match, up to $100 when you sign up. We got some Prize Picks plays here that I'm excited to tell y'all about. We got 3 squares. All right, last week went with a power play, hit on 2 out of 3 of those squares. We're going to flex it this week. All right? Now, I feel really good about these picks. Famous last words, but I feel really good about these squares. Marvin Harrison Jr. against Penn State, playing against NFL caliber cornerbacks. Ohio State has shown they're trying to get Marvin Harrison the football these last couple of weeks. I think that continues. His number is half a touchdown. Go ahead and give us the more. We'll lock that one in. Roman Wilson, we had him as half a receiving touchdown. We took the more on that last weekend against Indiana for Michigan. They're against Michigan State this week. Roman Wilson, we're going back to the well. Keep the good times rolling. Good things happening for good people. We like the more on the half a receiving touchdown for Roman Wilson. Now, I hadn't really flirted too much with the fantasy score part of this whole operation with Prize Picks, just quite frankly because I'm not a big fantasy football guy. I'm in a couple of leagues, but I'm just pretty much picking college players and trusting whatever I see on the ticker with ESPN. So I'm not super invested there. But I saw this fantasy score for Nick Singleton, Penn State running back against Ohio State, 12.5. Now, granted, he'll probably share the load a little bit with Katron Allen, but they're going to want to run the football against Ohio State. Penn State is a 55% run the football kind of team. Nick Singleton, 12.5 points. We can get that. We can get that done. So we're taking the more on the fantasy score there for Nick Singleton, 12.5 fantasy points. Let's ride, baby. We got Marvin Harrison Jr. He's going to catch a touchdown. Lock that one in. Roman Wilson also catching a touchdown. It's a rivalry game at Michigan State. He's catching one. Nick Singleton, 12.5 points with a fantasy score. We'll go ahead and take the more with that. Let's keep rolling. You say, JD, I say it every week, man. JD, that's a lot of mores. You really like the more in this one, huh? Yeah, we do. We do. We root for these kids to go make big-time plays in big-time stages in college football. Sue us, all right? Sorry if you don't like that. Sorry if that maybe rubs you the wrong way. Sorry I want Marvin Harrison Jr. to catch a touchdown. Sorry I want Nick Singleton to achieve his dreams of scoring a touchdown in the shoe. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry, not sorry. Go ahead and use redeem code JD whenever you sign up. 100% deposit match, up to $100. Let's roll. Appreciate y'all locking in with them. Prize Picks. Just good people of the program, and just adding a little bit more spice to your college football Saturday. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.